Welcome to Live Without a Car, the show where we talk about everything from the logistics of living without a car to the financial savings and lifestyle benefits. I'm Amanda, and I have lived without a car for nearly a decade in Portland, Oregon. I am also an economist and your host, and today I want to talk about what might be the most underrated flex of all time, going car-free in America. When people think of flexing, they usually think of expensive things. New cars, luxury vacations, the biggest house on the block. But frugal people, we flex differently. Our flex isn't what we buy, it's what we don't. Nothing says I've cracked the system quite like intentionally not owning a car. In an article published by Forbes this month, it states that according to the U.S. Census Bureau, approximately 92% of American households had at least one car as of 2022. But does everyone who has a car actually want that car, or do they own it as a necessity? A little over 100 years ago, the first automobile hit the streets, and it was considered a luxury. Now, owning a car truly is a necessity for many people because of how American cities are designed. So if you think about it, not owning a car, but still living well, is a huge flex. Cars are extremely expensive. The average cost of owning a new car in the U.S. is easily $10,000 to $12,000 a year, according to AAA, once you factor in payments, insurance, gas, maintenance, parking, repairs, etc. When you go car-free, you're not just saving money, you're opting out of a lifestyle. It forces you to be intentional in the best possible way. You choose housing closer to work and/or transit. You build active routines around walking, biking, or running. You learn your city in a way that drivers never do, using all of your senses instead of just mostly sight. And let's talk about the social flex for a second. In a culture that assumes adulthood equals car ownership, choosing not to own one is rebellious. It says, I'm not going into debt just to look normal. It also says, I value freedom more than perceived convenience. Because let's be honest, commuting an hour each way to and from work is hardly convenient. Frugality isn't just about saying no to everything, it's about saying yes to what actually matters. Some people love their cars, they can afford them, and they use them almost daily. That actually used to be me, and that's great. But for many people, such as myself today, that is just not the case. The cost, time, and energy spent on owning and maintaining a vehicle isn't really worth it when you think of all the other things you'd rather spend money on, but can't because hundreds, if not thousands of dollars a month is tied up in something that spends most of its life parked. For perspective, here are 3 things I've done since I ditched my car. 1, I greatly increased my investments in my company's retirement account as well as my personal brokerage account, ensuring that I am set up for my future. 2, I paid for my first ever first-class flight to Orlando from Portland coming out of the pandemic. It was surprisingly less money than I expected, like only a few $100s more than the main cabin price, and it was worth every dime. 3, I traveled for over 4 months across Europe and Turkey in 2017 for less than the average annual cost of a new vehicle. So, can you name 3 things you'd rather spend money on, but really can't because your money is tied up in your car? When you don't have one, you have options, and that to me is the biggest flex of all. So if you're curious about whether you can go car-free in your current city, you can start by checking out our free 30-day transit tracker. The first step is to document how often you use your car currently. Later, you can take that same data and analyze whether the trips you naturally take in life can be easily done without a car or not. Just send an email to livewithoutacar@gmail.com with the subject line Transit Tracker, and we will send you a free copy. Thanks for listening to Live Without a Car. If you enjoyed this episode, subscribe and share it with a friend. Until next time, walk slowly and enjoy the scenery. Ciao!